Shared values finding common ground. What can Christians learn from Islam? Both faiths share rich traditions and values. Exploring these similarities offers a pathway to unity. Meaningful dialogue bridges divides and builds respect. Recognizing common ground helps us see each other as fellow travelers. Both emphasize loving God and our neighbors. This foundation helps build relationships for the common good. Understanding different beliefs deepens our own. Humble dialogue opens us to new perspectives. Learning from one another enriches our spiritual journeys. Hospitality, welcoming the stranger. Hospitality is sacred in both Christianity and Islam. Hebrews 13:2 reminds us to show hospitality to strangers. The Quran emphasizes caring for guests. Offering food and shelter is a religious duty for Muslims. Prophet Muhammad was known for his generous hospitality. Christians are called to extend hospitality to all. Hospitality reminds us we are interconnected. It breaks barriers and creates warmth and belonging. The power of prayer, a shared language with God. Prayer forms the cornerstone of both Christian and Muslim spiritual life. For Christians, prayer is a way to connect with God, to offer praise and thanksgiving, to confess sins and to seek guidance. Jesus himself was a man of prayer, often withdrawing to solitary places to commune with his Father. Similarly, Muslims pray 5 times a day, offering their prayers facing Mecca. These prayers, known as salat, are a time for Muslims to connect with God, seeking forgiveness, guidance, and strength. The Quran emphasizes the importance of prayer, stating that verily, I am Allah. There is no deity except me, so worship me and offer prayer perfectly for my remembrance. Despite differences in form and practice, the essence of prayer remains the same, a heartfelt connection with the divine. Whether we are kneeling in a church pew or prostrating ourselves on a prayer rug, prayer unites us in our shared humanity and our desire to connect with something greater than ourselves. Devotion beyond rituals, a shared heart. Beyond rituals and practices, both Christianity and Islam emphasize the importance of genuine devotion to God. For Christians, this devotion manifests in striving to live a life that reflects the teachings of Jesus Christ. This includes loving our enemies, forgiving others, and showing compassion to those in need. In Islam, devotion is expressed through submission to the will of God. Muslims believe that true faith requires not just belief, but action. This includes living a life guided by the 5 pillars of Islam: faith, prayer, charity, fasting, and pilgrimage. This shared emphasis on devotion reminds us that true faith is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a way of life. It requires us to go beyond outward appearances and to cultivate a heart that is aligned with the will of God. Whether we express this devotion through acts of service, charitable giving, or simply striving to live a life of integrity, it is through our actions that we demonstrate the sincerity of our faith. Bridging the divide, real-life encounters. Throughout history, there have been countless examples of Christians and Muslims coexisting peacefully and even collaborating for the common good. From the early days of Islam, when Christians and Muslims lived side by side in Medina, to modern-day interfaith initiatives working to combat poverty and promote peace, these encounters offer hope and inspiration. One inspiring example is the story of Francis of Assisi and Sultan al-Kamil. In the midst of the Crusades, Francis crossed enemy lines to engage in dialogue with the Sultan. This act of courage and bridge building, though seemingly small, helped to foster greater understanding between Christians and Muslims during a time of intense conflict. Today, organizations like the Christian-Muslim Forum and the Islamic Society of North America are working to promote interfaith dialogue and understanding. These groups organize events, workshops, and educational programs that bring Christians and Muslims together to learn about each other's faiths, share their perspectives, and build relationships. A call to unity, embracing our shared future. In an increasingly polarized world, it is more important than ever for Christians and Muslims to come together in a spirit of unity and understanding. By focusing on our shared values of hospitality, prayer, and devotion, we can build bridges of respect and compassion that transcend our differences. Let us challenge ourselves to move beyond stereotypes and misconceptions, and to engage in meaningful conversations with our Muslim neighbors. Let us seek out opportunities to collaborate on projects that promote the common good, and let us stand together in solidarity against injustice and oppression. By embracing our shared future, we can help to create a world where people of all faiths can live together in peace and harmony. As Christians and Muslims, we have a responsibility to be peacemakers and bridge builders, working together to create a more just and compassionate world for all.